I don't know if it's still there, but I remember when I would pass the Vivid building, I think on the 101 in LA across from Universal Studios. And I would always see it. And, I remember in the 90s when I would see it and I would get like, kind of like, oh, there it is.
You get that little chubber going. You'd be like,
yeah, but I mean, granted, it's not like they were probably shooting that was probably just all the business offices and there was nothing like, there were no naked women just walking around over there, but it just,
But yeah, that's the thing. And it was, for people that don't know, it's on a street called Cahuenga.
Yeah.
Like heading into Hollywood from Porn Valley. And it was this big building that the owner bought. Mm-hmm. And on the top was Vivid in brightest cobalt blue lettering. And it was their Vivid symbol with the star over the eye or something.
Yeah.
And it was, and it shined at night. Like it was so big, vivid. I mean, the letters had to be 10, 20 feet each or something. And then they sold out, but we still were doing radio out of that building. Mm-hmm. The radio was still there. And all the floors were now being rented out to mainstream production companies.
Oh, interesting.
And, and then one day, we were in like the back of the building, on one of the floors, 3rd floor, 4th floor, top floor. We used to call it the penthouse. And apparently people from A&E or whatever, Discovery Channel would record our show outside of our door.
Oh, I think it was E, because I remember E Entertainment did some shows sometimes where it would show like from Con or other things, because I remember they had videos following like Jenna Jameson around when she would travel and do stuff, and it just so they were doing their stuff like Wild Sex on the Riviera or something, I think was the show.
I don't know who rented out the offices at Vivid, but two girls, rumor was two of the girls that had nothing to do with porn were like, oh, there's a porn radio show on the 4th floor. And they'd take their phones and like put it up to the door, and there'd be either me or Tanya Tate or Annie Cruz, whoever was on, Aiden Starr. Yeah, so I was bent over the desk and I had a garden hose up my ass and I was posted on their social media. And the story was like somebody put it up on their Facebook. Look, listen to what I have to listen to at work every day.
Well, and that's what's interesting. So, and because we have about, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes left, but because you got into radio, but it's like this was pre-podcasting. So it's like these were shows that before you couldn't do on regular radio because you had all the FCC stuff that you couldn't you have profanity, you couldn't do like talk about explicit sex stuff, Howard Stern, like, cause he, that whole stuff. And now it's like, it seems like when Sirius started and you started doing that, it started to broaden out these to pave the way for eventually podcasts.
You know what? It was an amazing 18 years. It was groundbreaking satellite radio. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. It's funny how there was no video though. Like we had a lot of like truckers. We'd get people that drove because satellite you get from state to state to state, like AM, FM, terrestrial, whatever they call it. Where like you drive over that county line and Kiss FM is gone or whatever.
Yeah.
It was so great. And then unfortunately about a year and a half ago, after 18 wonderful years, SiriusXM did a sweep during cancel culture and got rid of they got rid of anything that was slightly offensive to people, like Vivid Radio, Jenny McCarthy, some comedians that I'm sure made fun of somebody and they got it was just, but that's the name of the game. And the funny thing is I do just as well today with all the other stuff that's now available. But I'll tell you what I miss, the routine. Mm-hmm. I miss the routine. I get up, I have my coffee, I take a shower, I get ready, I go get my lunch, I go to the studio. It's the routine that I still miss at times.
Yeah.
Some days like it's 4 o'clock, I haven't gotten out of my pajamas,
Yeah. But yeah, and now it's like, because with podcasting, it's, I mean, I shoot in an actual studio, so that's but a lot of people will have setups in their homes or their apartments, and so it doesn't have the same kind of setup as, because it sounds like with Sirius it was like just like any kind of radio station where it had all the mixing boards and the producer and all that stuff doing everything for you. So, but yeah, so it's like, so what was it that drew you to, because you said you just kind of, this opportunity came to do radio. Was it something that when you started doing it that, or did you have like an interest in doing a radio show, or was it more like, oh, let me try this out and see how it goes, and you ended up liking it?
I always thought it would be fun, and I always knew that I'd be good at it. Like I would go on Playboy Radio as a guest, like twice a year for the first 2 years. Like when my book came out, I went on to promote it, or, they had a week of legends. So there'd be a day where Seika and I were on for that week. And then the next day was, whoever, Peter North and Ginger, that kind of thing. And I always left going, God, what a fun gig. You just get to go and yickety yak with your friends, and or people that are like, it's just, I find people fascinating.
Yeah, so do I.
It was just, like girls would come on, obviously, that I'd never met, but to hear their stories. And I love the ones that would come in drunk at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and they cry. Like, you can't make radio. It's total improv. Like, you know what's going to happen. You might get a guest on Monday that's so fascinating, you don't even want to talk. You just let them ramble. Next day, you'd have a guest that was like nodding off, and you're like, you just had to pick up the ball and run with the interview. I like the spontaneity of radio, this, that, and the other. So I got into it it just fell in my lap, but I knew I'd be good at it.
Okay.
The problem is nobody in today's culture of offending people are going to take my dog and pony show on a daily basis.
Yeah.